The dispatch call officer Miller was a hardened veteran of the force, a man who believed only in what he could see, touch, and document. He had seen the worst of humanity but never once believed in the paranormal. That changed on a quiet Tuesday night shift when a dispatch call came in from the old Henderson house. The call was a welfare check. An elderly woman who lived alone had a history of making bizarre, nonsensical calls, and dispatch always treated them as a matter of routine. This time, however, the call was different. All that came through was a series of low, guttural whimpers and then a faint rhythmic scratching sound, like fingernails on wood. Miller and his rookie partner, a young officer named Evans, pulled up to the dilapidated Victorian house. The lights were off and a thick fog swirled around the porch. They approached the front door and knocked, but no one answered. Miller tried the door. It was unlocked. They stepped inside, their flashlights cutting through the oppressive darkness. The house was cold and still, smelling of dust and something else, something cloying and rotten. They called out, "Ma'am, police! Anyone home?" But only silence answered them. They began to search the house, starting in the living room. It was dusty and cluttered, a relic of a bygone era. They moved to the kitchen, then the dining room. As they moved, the silence grew thicker, heavier. Then Evans froze. "Did you hear that?" he whispered. Miller, too, had heard it. A faint rhythmic scratching sound was coming from inside the walls. They stood still, their eyes wide, watching the walls, waiting. The sound moved, scurrying up the wall and into the ceiling. "Mice," Miller said, his voice less convincing than he would have liked. They moved upstairs toward the bedrooms. As they reached the hallway, the air grew colder, and a different sound joined the scratching. A low, humming vibration like a music box winding down. Old house scary story. A thin, white light began to bleed from under one of the bedroom doors. Miller's heart hammered against his ribs. He had a bad feeling about this. He motioned for Evans to stay back, and he cautiously approached the door. The knob was warm to the touch. He pushed the door open. The room was bathed in a soft white light coming from a small, ornate music box on the nightstand. The box was open, and a porcelain doll with wide, vacant blue eyes was spinning inside. Scary story, a single girl. The humming stopped, and the light flickered out, plunging the room into darkness. Then the scratching returned, not from inside the walls, but from inside the closet. Miller pulled his gun, his hands shaking slightly. He motioned for Evans to open the closet door. Evans, his face pale, reached for the knob. The door flew open on its own, and a small white figure darted past them, a childlike shape, giggling in a tinny, hollow voice. Miller and Evans yelled and jumped back, raising their flashlights and pointing their guns at the empty hallway. But the sound they had just heard was not a child. It was the laugh from the house, a low, mocking